Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anna of Reinforcement Club. Today, we are going to talk about how environment influences your behavior. So, have you noticed how different places make you feel or act differently? Of course, it happens when we're on holidays. You are just carefree there. But when you come back at work, then you are back into your beast mode. Yeah, that happens. Or when you're at home. Yeah, you want to be a law-abiding daughter or son. You don't want to make conflicts with your mom and dad. As much as possible, you say yes to satisfy them and see them happy. Even though at the back of your head, you don't really want to do this. You don't want to go to church. You don't want to cook for them. You don't want to wash the dishes, but you are under your parental management, so you have to do that. And the same is true with when you are in the setting of hanging out with your friends, especially when you're partying. So you could be a different person at home. You are respectful, reserved, but when you go out with your friends and party, gosh, you could be wild, talkative, confident. You could be overconfident. If you are, if you don't care about anything that's going on at home, but when you're with friends, you could be thoughtful because you are surrounded by thoughtful and caring friends. So you could be thoughtful when you're around them, or you just seem to like to dance a lot. But at home, you don't because you're not into it with your mom and dad. But with your friends, yeah, all right, why not? Go, go. Another setting is that when you are in a library, let's just say you just want to let the hour pass because, you know, this happens when you are in college or high school or even primary school. You already have library there. So you decided to let the hours pass and you want to stand by inside the library to sleep, to study, to read, and explore, or it could be to explore different books. And you could be quiet alone. But when you are with your friends in the library, sometimes you forget the rules and regulations, especially to maintain silence in the library. So yeah, it does happens when your friends are coming in the library and you see them, and there you go, a chit chat, and you forget about the rules of silence in the library, and there you go, the librarian just giving out. So you tend to be alone when you are, you tend to be, you tend to be quiet when you're alone, but when you're with your friends, it's a different you. So of course your friends are part of your environment. Environment plays a crucial role in shaping human behavior. So this refers to the surroundings, social interactions, cultural norms, and different factors in the environment. Even the pollution could influence your thoughts, your feelings, actions, even your mental health. So today we are going to cover a different ways in which the environment can influence your behavior. We have the so-called social environment. So people tend to adapt their behavior to fit within social norms and expectations. Social interactions, peer pressure, and societal values can significantly impact individual behaviors. So let's just say that, this is based on like personal, true story. Dad doesn't drink, but yeah, he does smoke. But I don't smoke, but I drink before. I've never experienced the taste of alcohol at home ever. But when I met my friends in college, which is fun and one of the best things that ever happened to me, these people, yes, they drink and smoke. And when I started hanging out with them, I eventually become one of them. And sometimes I do smoke when I get bored, and when I hang out with I've got loads of friends before. So there's some people, they do smoke and drink, and some people they just drink, just plain drink, nothing else, and others plain drink and etc. So when I go out with people who smoke, my friends, well, when I get bored and I can see them smoking, I just grab a one stick. So I smoke at times when I was younger. That was years and years ago. And of course, I drink when I hang out with people, with my friends who drink, but doesn't smoke. So I don't smoke when I'm with them. It's just plain drinking. So, but I haven't tasted any alcohol at home. Never. It's just that I eventually drink because I hang out with people who drink. So that is peer pressure. Even though I know, of course, I was a medical student before. Even though I know alcohol and smoking is bad for your health, yes, I still did it. So, but I learned it from my friends, and I'm not saying that my friends are bad. They're the best thing that happened, never ever happened to me. And the smoke and drink is just part of the etc. that we had. But yeah, those are we had fun together. Another thing is the so-called social interactions. Social interactions at work is way too different when you are off work, although you are the same person. So at work, you are expected to be respectful as much as possible, even though sometimes it's really hard, but you have to tame yourself. At work, you are, as much as possible, expected to be polite. But even me, even myself, I forget about being polite sometimes. It could be most of the time though, when you're running late. But yeah, I'm polite in some ways, somehow, trying to be. At work, you are expected to cooperate and say yes to your boss, as much as possible all the time. Even though it's hard, but you have to abide the rules and regulations. So that's who you are. You are a law-abiding citizen at work. But when you are off work, even though you are still a law-abiding citizen, but when you get drunk off work, because you're not allowed to drink at work. When you're drunk off work, there's another you who pop up. Some kind of you who doesn't give a heck about the rules and regulations of the world and the society and the community. You're just crawling on the corner and shout out your feelings. And you tend to know another language. The language that is not a good language. Could be insulting to some people. Yeah, that could be you in some point when under the influence of alcohol. So that's something to do with the societal interactions too. It all depends on the rules and regulations of the environment that you're in. Like when you're at work, yes, of course, you know what's expected of you. And when you hang out with your friends, of course, those rules and regulations can be tweaked a little bit. And when you with alcohol, even those messed up stuff, use those bad stuff with alcohol, when you do those things, bad things, that could be the coolest thing that you ever done under the influence of alcohol. You're the coolest person ever. You've done the coolest thing, even though it's those are bad things with alcohol. Now we also have this so-called cultural environment. So these are cultural norms, beliefs, practices, and patterns of behaviors within the society, which can affect various behaviors, human behavior, including communication styles, decision-making processes, and perceptions of morality. So one example of this is that we have the communication style in the Philippines. When you are talking to someone you happen to know just right now or today, or when you are talking to someone who is older than you, one way to pay respect to those people is to say po and opo in a sentence. So that's communication style. Po and opo is a Tagalog language. So let's just say I'm gonna ask you if you want to have a cup of tea, and I want to pay respect to you in a Filipino way. So I'm gonna ask you, hey Ryan, would you like to have a cup of tea? Would you like to have some drink po? You can usually hear that in from those Filipino kids talking to their mom and dad. Po and opo. Can I ask you a question, po? So, would you remind me how to fix and tie my shoelace? Po. So, when you're talking, when a Filipino kid talks to his mom. So, po and opo. And another perceptions of morality. So, let's just say in the Philippines. So it's a Philippine setting. Always been, because I can see the differences in different cultures in some parts of the world. So one way to pay respect to our elders is to hold their hand and put it on our forehead. Like, bless po, pa bless po. There you go. So that's one way to show respect to our elders, to our parents, and yeah, for grandma and grandpa. And then kiss them on the forehead or kiss them on the cheek. And to Western countries, they just say hi, hello, or kiss, and then hug. So that's to them, and just be polite to their parents. In the Philippines, that's how we show it. Not all of us do it, but it is still happening in the Philippines. We call it mano po. And in terms of decision making process, Asians, okay, where I'm talking about Asians, particularly Filipinos, when we decide, when we're living with our parents, most of our decisions actually relies with our parents. For example, our courses to take. For me personally, I want to be a teacher, but my dad wants me to become a nurse because my aunt is a nurse and some of my relatives are nurses. So I become a nurse, and then but I do other stuff so that I can do what I want, and I didn't regret it. So far, I didn't know what I want way back that time, but you know, Asians, or it could be not general, but in Asia, in Philippines, parents will always have a say to our decision makings, to the decision makings of their kids. And of course we have this so-called physical environment. So environmental factors such as architecture, design, geographical location can impact our behavior. So, for example, the research suggests that access to green spaces and natural environments can improve mental health and reduce stress level. So, in the hospital, some hospital have some lovely setting, lovely rooms. So, I'm going to describe to you what a lovely room is. So, in the institution where I work in, it's a building. It's a like 7 to 8 floor building, and it is surrounded. Yeah, in one side of the building you can see the entire city, and on the other side it's all golf course and trees. It's all green and it's amazing. It's relaxing, and that environment, when clients and patients can see those environment, it reduces their stress. So less complaints. I mean, not much really. It's like a hotel, but it's not a hotel. You are just confined for a certain legal and of course significant reason, but it's that rooms are actually stress reducing. You feel at home when you are confined, when you are confined in that environment. It's all green. You just pick one, whether you love to see the entire city or you want to see the green environment with golf course, and you can see the churches, and even the cities and like a distant away after the golf course. It's all green. It's environment friendly, and patients love it. The staff love it. Everybody loves the location. Now, another way to describe this environment for physical environmental factor is that in school. So of course, way back elementary or primary school, I just want to recall and share this with you. When I go into our elementary classroom, the place is actually surrounded with alphabets, uh, you know, uh, inspirational quotes for the pupils or the students, and the good moral character idealization of on how to be. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that you can see on the board or like on the bulletin board and how to be a good student, the ideal student. And you can see the teacher's desk, the blackboard, and it's all conducive to learning. So that's the physical environment. But then sometimes during rush hour from around 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Our school is, it's in the middle of the town, and it's in the, we are surrounded with highways. So it's actually quite noisy that time between 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. So I can hear the sirens of the jeepneys and cars outside when it's trafficked. Some people are shouting sometimes while we are doing the lecture and we're listening. Although we really did our best to listen to our teachers. So that's the physical environment. Another important example is that when we have a certain place in the Philippines wherein that place called Manila Bay. Manila Bay is surrounded with like uh, hotels and catering businesses. Manila Bay used to be totally dirty before, but under Duterte's regime, he cleaned it up. So, those people who live within Manila Bay, they actually suffer with the dirt. They have some health issues around there, and they're not allowed to swim on the sea of Manila Bay. But unlike this time, yes, they can. But before, you can get some diseases when you expose yourself before the clean up job of Manila Bay under ex-President Duterte. So thank you very much for that once again. And another thing, we have this so-called family environment. So yeah, it includes it includes parenting styles, family dynamics, and the quality of relationships within the family can influence the development of the personality traits, social skills, and emotional regulation of an individual for the kids and parents. So, yeah, for example, I grew up with dad though, and we both live in an extended family with my aunts. So my aunt took care of us. Even today, my dad still lives with aunt. So in our house, in our home, we are expected to abide the rules and regulations as much as possible. We have to go home early at the at least 10 o'clock in the evening. That's already a kind policy. 10 o'clock in the evening policy. But then again, yes, it does happen during high school time. But when my cousins and I became college, so we aren't law abiding anymore. It's because our parents have also, they're kind of too lenient in their ways. Sometimes they don't do what they say. Sometimes, they jump into one thing to another. And that also reflects to the rules and regulations at home. In spite of that, yes, we did enjoy and still love each other. But no, but the way your parents are, it actually indirectly and directly influences the sons and daughters, the kids that they have. So when they can't control themselves, when parents cannot control themselves sometimes, and then yeah, that it also happens to kids. And when they, for example, when yeah, my dad actually, yeah, he smokes, and he can't he it's kind of hard for him to really to stop the habit. And I was telling to myself before that I don't maybe I could give a try. How does it feels like to be smoking like that? But then, yeah, after trying it though, yeah, I made my own decision not to. It's hard, and Dad also told me that please don't start. It's hard to be locked up with a habit that you can't beat. So it's a good lesson. So I don't smoke anymore, and I don't even drink. So it's been around, could be 6 to 7 years, or yeah, 6 to 8 years that I don't intentionally go out and drink. I just drink. It could be once a year, twice a year, during birthdays and parties. Birthdays of my important, my close pals, and parties with important people in my life. Other than that, no more smoke and drink. Yeah, because that's what Dad told me. If you start, make sure that you can get out of it. Otherwise, it's sad to be stuck in a habit that you cannot beat. I always remember that. I always remember that, Dad. So yeah, it's like the rules and regulations at home could be loose or it could be tight, and that influences an individual's growth and development. Even the vices at home, if if smoking and drinking is considered normal, it can also be brought outside home. Lastly, we have the so-called educational environment. These are schools and educational institutions which provide a structured environment that can influence behavior through curriculum, peer interactions, and teaching methods. Educational experiences shape cognitive development, socialization, and attitudes towards learning. So, have you noticed it in the classroom? In the class, the usual setting of a classroom is bright, colorful, and with lots of fun activities, especially when you are in a primary school. Fun activities, and those fun activities guided by our teacher uh, encourage us to learn and behave well. But if you are in a noisy environment, for example, your teacher is not around, your teacher is sick, so you're just stuck in the classroom, and people, your classmates becoming themselves, and you become yourself too, and you started to make noise, and then yeah, there you go, everything, then everybody and everything in the space in the classroom is all noisy, and we are all distracted and not well behaved. Also in the classroom, in the educational institution, we have our favorite teachers too. So they actually have a big role in shaping how we behave. So those teachers who tend to really look smart, could be look handsome, they could be beautiful and sexy, you know, they influence how we behave, especially when your teacher is your crush. So you make sure that when you go into that classroom, you have no issues because you are just focused on your goal. It's looking at your teacher and listening to them. You have to keep your records clean. So that's just that happens though. I also have a teacher crush before, and just like everybody else. Also, the best part of going to school is our friends. And yeah, these people influence us a lot as we grow up, as we tend to enter the, every level, year level. So when you hang out with the good students, students who have most of the awards in the school, you could be one of them. Let's take, for example, my best friend before, she was the second honor in high school. So I keep hanging out with her. And hanging out with her feels good because she hangs out with other bright and smart students. So I get to know them too. And as a result to that, I become one of them. I receive a couple of awards in high school, although I didn't really realize why I ever got this. And my best friend in high school, who is really smart and good in math and in arts and sciences, she encouraged me to study, to focus on, to improve my learning, even though I don't really like it. So somehow yeah, I think I like the way she thinks, so that I become, the way she thinks. So I'm also thankful that I hang out with her somehow. I hope she's in good form today. Kudos to you. And yeah, your classmates and your friends in school have big influence on your behavior. It all depends on which friends you choose. So this school must be, of course, we expect it to be supportive environment which help us grow into a smart and kind individuals. So all in all, Social environment, cultural environment, physical environment, family environment, and educational environment have a big impact on our growth and development. So the essence of this topic today is, as much as possible, having been exposed to different environments in your life and have experience in those good and bad and the ugly, take advantage to learn. Make sure to pick the opportunity that you can see in every scenario, in every environment, in every people you met, in every relationship that you have. Make sure that it benefits you in a way, in a good way, for the betterment of your relationship, of your future, for yourself and the people around you. So once again, this is Anne of Reinforce Me Club. Thank you very much for your time, and have a lovely day ahead.